Welcome everyone to another episode of Billionaire's Beginnings. In previous episodes, we acquired the Kasaka submarine, the agency, and the auto shop. And today, we're going to put them all to good use and make $10 million so that we can invest into our next big project. So to start off, we first, of course, had to do a Cayo Perico heist, the best money method for solo players in the entire game. Now, usually I do this in a very particular way so that we can get it done quickly and make as much money as possible. But for this episode, I want to mix it up a little bit. So the first time through, I actually did a halo jump from the Alchemist. We landed at the main dock, we looted the main dock, looted the airstrip and the north dock before going through the compound and making our great escape. That was the first one through. Pretty simple, pretty easy, and for all these heists, we made about $1.3 million on average. The second time through, I actually did a no mini-map challenge. I wanted to test myself, see how I did. Of course, the first time through didn't quite go as planned, but that's okay. The second time through was fine. We did that and we moved on. And for the final three, I actually did it in our regular way just to make it efficient and get through them. So in total, we did 5 Cayo Perico heists, which ended up netting us about $6.5 million. Now, each Cayo Perico heist took about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, and like I said, earned us on average $1.3 million, which is great. But there is a 2.5 hour cooldown between each Cayo Perico heist when you do it solo. So for 3 of them, I didn't bother, I just spread them out over a few days. But for the last 2, we had to find a way to fill up that cooldown time. And the first thing we did was Dr. Dre contracts with the agency. This is another great way to make money. This is, again, essentially a big heist. You're gonna have the first time through 2 primary missions or 2 setup missions. You're then gonna have to do 3 separate music leaks. And they're gonna be 2 setups plus a finale mission. So essentially 3 mini heists plus 2 final heist missions. It's going to take about an hour and a half total. Take your time, it's a lot of fun if you're doing it for the first time. But it does earn us $1 million for, like I said, an hour and a half worth of work. Now, you actually get a little bit more money than that. So across the 2 Dr. Dre contracts that we did, it was $2.1 million in total earnings, which is incredible. They also have a cooldown, which is why I only did 1 of those after the Cayo Perico heist before doing the final thing. But before we get into that, I have to mention throughout each Dr. Dre contract, I also mixed in payphone hits, which are a great way to make money with the agency. Once you've completed 3 security contracts, we're then able to do payphone hits, and I was doing them once every 30 minutes or so because there is a 20-minute cooldown for them. So what I would personally do, I did the 3 missions of each leak, and then I did a payphone hit after that because each time I did those 2 to 3 missions, it would take about 20 minutes. So by the time I was done the next leak, I was also able to do another payphone hit. And I mixed these in throughout the entire grinding process, and in total we did 9 payphone hits, which made us $765,000 because each time I did the bonus, I did the challenge and made $85,000 each time. So great way to make money, almost $1 million just on payphone hits in this episode. That is incredible. And now that brings us to the thing that I hinted at before, the final part of this master plan, this entire process. It was doing auto shop contracts. Now for this episode, I actually only did 1 in particular because it is the best and it was the one that popped for us both times. It was the Union Depository contract. With this one, you make $290,000. It is a mini heist where you have 2 very quick setup missions and 1 finale where you are robbing the Union Depository just like the story mode. I love it, great mission, but it earns us $290K after the setup missions and the finale, which is great. Each time it took me about 30 minutes to do, so in total that took us about an hour. So with all that being said, in this episode we did a total of 5 Cayo Perico heists for $6.5 million, 2 Dr. Dre contracts for $2.1 million. We did 9 payphone hits for $765,000, and then 2 Union Depository contracts for $580,000. Incredible way to make money, ton of fun. We had a few $100,000 before we started, and that is how we made our $10 million that we could now invest. I will also mention that whole process took about 11 hours, anywhere between 10 to 11 hours. I don't have the specific number, but we averaged about $1 million an hour, which I think is pretty good. Let me know how your grinds have been going. With that being said, it is time to get into the big part of the episode. The reason why we grinded so hard and made that 10 million. It is time to invest it all into one thing, and that is a passive income stream. You may have seen this coming if you've watched my other content, but we as a solo player have a very limited amount of time, which means we have a more limited amount of time to make money, as well as limited ways to make money. We don't have the luxury of being able to do stuff like the casino heist and stuff like that. So because of that, we need to find ways to make money while we're doing other things in the game. And passive income is our answer. So there's two main businesses that we are purchasing today and all the things that are included with it in order to create these passive income streams. And the first one, of course, is the nightclub. This is an incredible business once you get it up and running. Now, you may be wondering, or you may be asking, the nightclub's only $1 million. How are we getting this $10 million figure from it? Well, once I purchased the nightclub and went into it, you could see that there is many different upgrades and additional things we need with it. So first off, we needed more storage space. So I purchased all the storage space for the nightclub. Then when we got into it, we realized that there is a warehouse portion of the nightclub that can earn us money on the side, earn us money passively, which is what we want. But in order to maximize that money, we have to have 4 additional technicians, which we also purchased. But you'll also notice in order to assign our technicians to source specific goods, we're actually going to have to own corresponding businesses in the game. So for the special cargo, we already had that because we have a CEO office. But for the next 4 to 5 businesses that we want to assign our technicians to, we have to actually go out and buy them. So of course, the first one was sporting goods, which meant that we had to own a bunker. So we picked up the cheapest bunker that we could way out in Paleto Bay or Paleto Forest. We acquired that. We did the setup mission for it because in order to assign these technicians, you also have to do the setup mission. So we did the setup, everything's good, and now we're able to assign 1 technician to sporting goods. Next up is South American imports. We're gonna have to own a white stuff lockup, a Coca-Cola lockup for that, which means we had to then purchase one of the MC clubhouses and then go and buy the cheapest Coca-Cola lockup, plus do the setup once again. So we completed all that. That's another few million out of the way. Next up was the pharmaceutical research, which requires us to own a blue stuff lab. So we went to purchase the cheapest one again, and you can see how this is starting to add up, but I will explain at the very end why it's important to have all these things and why it's really good to have them all. The final business we want to assign a technician to is cash creation. So we had to go out and purchase a counterfeit cash factory. Now the final purchase I wanted to make was the grass farm because whenever one of our different portions of the warehouse in the nightclub fills up, I want to then assign one of those technicians that is no longer working to another business, and that's going to be the organic produce, aka the grass farm. So we had everything set up. We did all the setup missions for all these different businesses, purchased them all, and assigned finally all of our technicians to all 5 of those businesses: special cargo, sporting goods, South American imports, pharmaceutical research, and cash creation. Assigning technicians to these 5 will make us $50,000 every single hour, and we have to do 0 work. Yes, 0 work. They're going to make us our money in the background. All we have to do is just be in the game, in a lobby. We could be doing a heist, we could be hanging out, purchasing, we could do whatever we want. These guys will be making us money. So that is an incredible thing. Now, the final thing that we also had to pick up was the equipment upgrade, because in order to make that 50K, you will need the equipment upgrade with the nightclub. So now we have everything set up with the nightclub. It's gonna earn us passive income on that side. The other thing that we can do now is actually keep the nightclub popularity maxed out, and that will give us an additional $50,000 every in-game day, which is 48 minutes through our wall save. So now we have the nightclub running at about $100,000 per hour of completely passive income, which is going to be crucial when we are doing all of our grinding in the future, and we don't want to have to slog it out and constantly work and put our time in to get money out. We could now just be doing whatever we want, hanging out, having fun, and make money in the background. And so setting up all that was incredible, but you will notice that we still have $1 million left. And that is going to be set aside for our Acid Lab. That is the second passive income business we are purchasing today. We bought it for $750,000. Now, I need to get the equipment upgrade in order to make it as efficient as possible, so I won't be using it until we have that. But in order to unlock that, we have to do 10 Fooligan missions, and I think I'm 1 or 2 Fooligan missions away. So once we do that, we'll get the upgrade, get that up and running. But the main part of this episode was making sure that we locked down the nightclub. And on top of everything, the nightclub is producing at double speed this week, which means that instead of making $100,000 an hour, it's going to be closer to $150,000. I don't know if the safe produces 2 times faster. I'll have to look into that. But it's either going to be $150,000 or like $200K an hour now. So that's insane. So much money. We're going to be also talking about in the next episode how to go AFK. That allows us to stay in the game while not playing the game and make more money. So tons of stuff coming later on. But anyways, that's all for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you want to see certain things in this series, drop them in the comment section down below. I appreciate all the love and support, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.